guys, welcome to my channel over here, where today we have a few e.l.f. products that we will be trying out. We have the new e.l.f. CC Camo Hydrating version. We have the new Lash XTNDR 2B mascara and their new Camo liquid blushes, I believe is what that one's called. And I tried their other Camo CC cream over the summer, and I remember the first couple times I liked it, but as I wore it more and kind of really looked into what it looked like on my skin, I did not like it. I ended up passing it to one of my kids and they got use out of it. So I have high hopes for this because it's more of a hydrating one. Hopefully it's not as thick, because that was my problem with the old one, was it was just too heavy and thick and cakey and makeupy on my skin. So I'm excited to give these a try. We're just doing a dedicated video to some new e.l.f. products right now. I know they have a few other new stuff, but these were the ones that intrigued me the most. I did think about picking up their lip liners, and I might still do that for a future video, because one of my New Year's resolutions is going to continue to be in a low buy. I want to continue to try and really dive into the makeup I have, but still continue every so often to purchase. But I want to purchase a little bit more drugstore in 2024. I've always liked drugstore. I've always purchased drugstore, but I did a lot of high end in 2023. So I want to gear myself more towards some high end, less and more drugstore. So if you like e.l.f., then give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe if you want to be a part of the YouTube family over here. And without further ado, let's try out these new e.l.f. products. Okay, so for eyes, just real quickly, I just went in with a couple shades in here, put the two on the lower lash line, just a very light shimmer on the lid. I want to keep the eyes just kind of basic for the fact I want the focal point to be the blush, the mascara for the lashes. I did not curl them, especially because it's supposed to be a lengthy mascara. I don't curl them. I do on an everyday basis, but when I'm trying a new mascara, I don't, because I try not to have any helping properties. And then for lips, I went in with LA Girl lip oil. You'll see all this stuff in the speed reviews coming up for December. But I want the focal point to be that blush, Camo CC cream, and the mascara. So that's all I did off camera. I'll go off camera again here in a bit and finish up my makeup, and then we'll come back on and have our final thoughts. So here is what the new mascara from e.l.f. looks like. Really cute packaging. I'm gonna guess, based off of the description and the packaging looking and the wand, it's trying to be duped for the Thrive mascara. I tried that such a long time ago that I don't remember my thoughts on that one, like a long time ago. But the wand is a little bit different, I feel like, just slightly different than the Thrive one. Just the shape, like you have the really short bristles, is silicone and rubber, but it's bent. That's a very unique wand. I personally have not came across one like that I can recall. It's very unique, and like all e.l.f. products, even the CC cream being the price it's at, still really cheap. It's only $7, and I have it in the shade black. I don't wear anything other than black for mascara. It's a 2B mascara. It's supposed to be long lasting, give you length. It has 5% jojoba oil, and it's a flexible silicone tapered brush, as we just saw. So I usually only go in with one coat. We will see. Every so often I'll go in with two, but more often than not, especially because on a daily I do curl, I don't end up going in with more than one coat. But let's see if it's what it's doing for us. It doesn't claim to do anything but give us length and then be a 2B mascara. So I don't expect it to separate. I don't expect it to lift the outer lashes of mine, and that's why I curl my lashes, because I have these outer ones, as you guys hopefully can see on camera right here. They just do not like to stick up. It's definitely giving me some length, but as I go over it more, it does seem to get slightly clumpy, but I really don't mind as long as it doesn't flake or smudge. So you guys will have to make sure you check out speed reviews for this. I'll update you guys after I wear it more, all of these products, but so far, I do like it. It's definitely giving me length. The clumping isn't too big of a deal, as long as it doesn't clump too much, and it doesn't seem to be clumping too much. That was one coat. I can always go in with a brush and brush it out. But there it is with one coat and then without. So as like I said, you guys can see my outer lashes. Definitely this portion just droops down. That's why I curl my lashes. So I will also play around with this with my lashes curled, and then you guys, I'll let you know in the speed reviews how it looks with my lashes curled to give more of that lift effect, but it's definitely giving me some really good length. You can see my lashes on this one compared to this. They're very sparse and not there. So with and without. All right, so now we have the Camo CC cream. It is the Camo Hydrating CC cream. I have mine in the shade 205N. It looks slightly dark, so we shall see when I swatched it in store, but it was the closest. And I was really actually confused because this is 205N, which is supposed to be neutral, but then the spot that it was in was like, cool, I don't know. I think they messed up as far as their display coordinating with what the shades actually are, but I did swatch. This was the closest, I feel like, without getting way too dark, and being a neutral, I lean more towards neutral shades. And also the mascara, I'm not sure what the reason for that wand being bent the way it was. There was no information on the reason for that. I used both sides when applying it, and like I said, I definitely will need to curl my lashes. I curl them on a daily, every mascara. But I so far I'm liking it. Like I said, I'll let you guys know in the speed reviews, flaking, sponging, things like that, and how it does wash off, since it's supposed to be a tubing mascara. I do know that the Tarte one was supposed to be a tubing mascara, and I didn't see that as tubing. That's why I never went out and bought the full size after I was done with the mini, because it just did not seem to wash off like a tubing mascara does. But information on this, it retails for $15, has 29 shades, it's full coverage, color correcting, supposed to moisturize your skin for smooth, glowy finish, has vitamin B5, it's hyaluronic acid, and tremula mushroom. Now this, hopefully, I have high hopes. I'm hoping this doesn't make me all dry and cakey. Like I said, the last one did. It was just very heavy, dry, and cakey on my skin, and I did not like that. So I was kind of skeptical to go ahead and pick this up, but it's supposed to be hydrating, so we're gonna try it out. So here is the shade, and in true fashion, I have no setting spray. We're not using powders with it today. We're not using any type of primers. And on one side, we're gonna go in with a sponge, and the other, we're gonna go in with a brush. So it feels very nice, but it also has kind of a thick consistency, so that kind of does worry me. I mean, I've had definitely products that were a thick formula and they were thin on my face, my complexion, my skin, whatever you want to call it, and it wasn't really thick and cakey. So we're just gonna see, right? It feels nice going on. It doesn't feel bad. And so far, just getting it rubbed in, it looks really nice. It's not all the way in. We're gonna use a brush on this side, and then we're gonna go in with a sponge on the other, like I always do. So we're gonna take my BK Beauty brush here, and it is interesting because, like I was saying about the shades, this actually looks, I don't know if it's looking like it on camera, but it's looking like it's got more of a cool undertone now that it's applied to my skin than a neutral undertone. But it's, the N is for neutral. But when I swatched it in store and when I just put it on my finger to spread it onto my face, it looked more warm. But that's the spot it was in, was for like a cool undertone. And I think it was 205C is what the display area said, but the back of the bottle says 205N. I think they messed up somewhere, but I'm actually thinking this is a pretty good shade match. It might be a little off for my neck, but I can always bring it down, or I have white pigment I can use. But so far, that looks really, really pretty. It's not sitting on top of my skin. It's very nice and dewy and glowy, like it said. I would definitely agree to full coverage. I only did half a pump, and so that's what we're gonna do for this other side as well. Try to only do one full pump. I don't wanna put too much on, not knowing how it's gonna look, especially because of my experience with their last one. So now we're gonna go ahead and take a half a pump on this side. We're still gonna spread it out, and then we will use a sponge to blend it out. Obviously, I'm gonna assume a sponge is gonna give us less coverage, but I always go in when I'm done applying. If I use a brush, whether it be on camera for a video or just on my everyday life, when I'm applying something, I always still go back in with a sponge and press everything into my skin. I just like to make sure it's all pressed in and it's all nice and cohesive. So there's what it looks like spread out again. See what I mean? I think you guys can see on camera how pink it looks, which I'm finding very interesting. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they definitely made a mistake somewhere with their display slash their shades on the bottle. But that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and pounce it in, see what we get with a sponge. It doesn't feel heavy at all either. It definitely feels very lightweight. It looks really, really dewy and pretty, but not greasy and in a bad way. It just looks very healthy, and it's got those good ingredients, the hyaluronic acid, the tumla mushroom, I think is how you say it. We're gonna press it in over here too, like I said, to cohesively blend it all together. And then I'll put just a little bit on the forehead. But let's see here. Yeah, see, it's not sitting on top of my skin. And even though it's got that dewy finish to it, I feel like it's also not really making my pores as noticeable more than normal. So here's with everything on my forehead and then with the CC cream. So I'm actually so far really enjoying this. However, like I said, the first couple of times I wore their old one, I actually liked it. Didn't really pay too much attention to how it was looking on my skin until one day I did. And I was like, ooh, I don't like it. So I'm paying a lot more attention this time. But so far, so good. We will not set it today. Make sure you have the bell notification on so you get notified of my speed reviews when I upload those. I would say you get just maybe a tad bit more coverage with a brush. I do like it a little bit better with a sponge just because I feel like it's more pressed into the skin so it looks more natural. But again, I always go over my entire face with a sponge anyways if I use a brush. But there you guys have it. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the forehead. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some of my other makeup. Then I'll jump back on and we'll do that blush. And we do also have their brush that comes with it. And then we will gather our final thoughts and let you guys know how I feel about this Camo CC Hydrating, what is it? Camo Hydrating CC Cream. It's like the old one, just with the word hydrating in it. All right, so I went ahead and put on my bronzer, and for bronzer, I used my new stick. I think it's called the Tinted Blur Sculpt Stick in the shade Medium Neutral. This I'm still testing out. You guys will see that in upcoming speed reviews. But now we have the e.l.f. blush, and I've heard it. There's buzz out there in the makeup world. This is a dupe for the Rare Beauty one, which I liked. It wasn't bad, but the thing I didn't like about it is it was way too pigmented, and I just could not get it to blend out or not use too much. It just became too much of a hassle for me, and I would do just the tiniest little dot, and it was very pigmented and very beautiful, and that's great because that container would last you a lifetime. And I actually got the mini. It was about the size of this, and I ended up passing it, I think, on to one of my girls, or donating it to someone, or passing it on to someone. It went somewhere. I don't have it anymore because I just was way too heavy-handed with it. I am a little bit better now with liquid blushes, so hopefully that's the case with this. Oh, and I didn't tell you guys because I suck at that. I'm really trying to get better to remember the size for things, but I do not see a size on here. I'll look it up and I'll put it up somewhere on the screen if I can find it somewhere, how much you get in here, but I'm not seeing anywhere. And I did use a full pump for my entire face. It's still looking pretty nice, although over here by my mouth we're looking a little drying, but a lot of foundations, complexion products do that. It's just my skin. I do like to really hydrate my skin before going in with a new product like I did today. I did some really good hydration skincare products, but we'll see, like I said, how it wears. So far it looks really good. I will say I did not set it because, again, I'm not gonna, unless I have a new setting powder setting spray, a primer. I don't use any helping properties the very first day when I do these videos. I will, the next time I use it, use a powder and things like that, and a setting spray, primer and all that. And then in my final thoughts, in my speed reviews video, you guys will know how the products work with those or don't work with them. But I feel like you don't really have to set it. Like, I wouldn't have set it even if this was later on down the road, and my cream product went over it really nicely. All right, so onto the blush. It is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush, retails for $7. I have in the shade Berry Well, and I will swatch it for you. It has 9 shades. It's a dewy finish. It's supposed to blend easily, lightweight, and long lasting. So here's what it looks like. And again, pretty sure it's a rare beauty dupe. And I know a lot of people will put it on their cheeks. I don't go that route. I put just the tiniest dot on the back of my hand. Here is what the product looks like. And then I will pick up my brush and coat my brush and go into my cheeks with it. And I did go ahead and pick up the brush they came out for it. So here's what the brush looks like. I almost didn't, but I was like, you know, I don't have a brush that I can think of in my collection of this shape. And there are definitely some e.l.f. brushes I enjoy. So I said, why not? So that was a very, very tiny amount. But again, I don't know. It's supposed to be really pigmented. We do have a more deeper shade, a berry shade compared to like a pink shade, because I feel like berries are the way to go in the fall and winter, and that's the month we are in. So I'm just trying to get it onto this brush and evenly coat it from the back of my hand and kind of shear it out by going like this, just in case it was a little too much. I mean, that was a tiny, tiny dot. So it's coated. Here we go. It may not have been enough. Yeah, I don't think that was enough, but that's okay. We can, you know, a good way to also test to see if it's buildable, because that definitely was not enough. So we'll go in with just a little bit more to see how buildable it is. But I definitely would say it is blending very nicely. So I'm going to just take a little bit more. So a little bit bigger of a dot. And again, we're going to do the same process on the back of the hand in order to really get it onto the brush. And then we're going to stipple it on. There you go. So there you go. We got a little bit more. And this brush is nice. It's not too dense, but it's also not too soft. It's definitely very flexible, and it's blending very well. So I will say right here, it's looking a little patchy, but it also could just be me. So again, this is why I also will, let me take my sponge. Sometimes that helps. This is also why I do speed reviews and wear the stuff more. But there we have it with and without. It looks really nice, although like I said right here, it is looking slightly patchy. I don't know if it's the brush, if it's the way I applied it, which I always apply my creams like this. It's just the way that I prefer it. But it's a really pretty color. It's very much a berry shade, and very little definitely goes a long ways, but it's very nice. I'm just a little concerned about the patchiness there. I'll definitely have to play around with it more in different ways of applying it. Maybe it is better to put it on the cheek and blend it out. Maybe I'll try that over here on this side. Maybe it's the brush. Maybe it's just my skin today. So we're just gonna do a tiny little dot over here. And then I'm gonna make sure there's nothing left over on the brush. I do notice on the brush, you guys see that? I don't know if it was something I did with the blending from the brush, but let's try and blend it on the cheek. Maybe, you know, maybe this is the best way. I mean, I put a small amount on my cheek and didn't blend it out onto the back of my hand, and that small little dot, I feel like equaled the amount that I did over here with that small dot, and then having to apply a little bit more. Okay, so maybe it is the way that I was blending it onto the brush, or maybe just that side of my cheek, the texture on that cheek, because I feel like it's not doing that over here. I feel like it is a little bit more smooth on this side, but now I feel like we got a little too much. So we're gonna just blend with the sponge a little, which is a good trick, by the way. If you go a little heavy-handed with your blush, just take your sponge and blend it out. That is definitely on both cheeks more blush than I typically go for. I don't normally go for that much blush, but it's a really, really pretty shade. I'll play around with it a little more. Like I said, I'm not really sure if it's something I did, because this side doesn't look as bad. I think it's either something I did or it's the fact that I just have a better cheek on that side. I am not sure. All right, I'm gonna go off camera, finish up everything else, then we'll come back on camera and I will let you guys know my final first impression thoughts. Finish off my makeup, I just went ahead and used the Sigma Matte Bronzer in Medium to set the bronzer I'd put into place. And then on my lips, I did the Shockwave LA Girl, I think in Gingerbread. Yes, in Gingerbread lip liner with the Sigma Renew lip oil in the shade Tint. So as far as these three products, my first initial thoughts, this is not bad at all. I definitely need to wear it more, figure out how to wear it. So far, it's looking better than the other Camo CC cream. It definitely is more drying around the mouth area, like I said earlier, but that happens a lot with a lot of products. I will set it with setting powder, setting sprays, use it with primers, play around with it for a while before I do a speed review. So like I said, make sure you subscribe and you have the bell notification on so you're notified of my speed reviews video, but not bad. First impressions, it's nice and hydrating. It's a lightweight. It's like a thicker consistency than I expected, but it's lightweight on the skin. You don't feel it. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look dry or cakey other than the mouth area. So far I like this better than their old one. And then we have their Camo liquid blushes. I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe the best way to apply these is to the cheek instead of the back of the hand, or maybe the brush just doesn't work all that well. I'll play around with it more because this side definitely is not as patchy as this side. And I didn't set the blushes down with a powder or a powder blush because I want to see how long they wear. And as I was doing that makeup offline, and then I also had to film some B-rolls for another video for you guys. I have noticed it's starting to fade a little, so I'll go ahead and keep you guys updated in speed reviews on that one. This, so far so good. Like I said, it definitely lifted. It definitely does get a little clumpy, so be careful. I will have to see what it does when I have my lashes curled, but it definitely gave me some good length. It so far has not smudged or smeared, and I definitely have to let you guys know my final thoughts in the speed reviews, if it's a tubey mascara or not, how easily it comes off. So that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you would smash the subscribe button, become a part of my YouTube family, and give this video a thumbs up. Helps my channel out. And I'll be back very soon, my friends. Until then, bye.